Ooh, all right. What is up? Now let me just kind of check my page over here. All right. Hopefully we're live. And yep, we're good. We are certainly seemingly good. So this is the interesting thing. I'm actually kind of uploading a video while I'm live, and I forgot that I was uploading a video, and I decided to stream anyway, and I was like, "Oh shit, maybe I should wait." But nope, everything is continuing to progress nicely, actually. So everything looks good. Hold on, I think I see something on notifications. Nope, no inconsistencies at all. No notifications. So that's good. All right. So I want to talk about XDefiant's wishlist. And the thing is, I also want to know from you guys in terms of what you would like to see in XDefiant, because everybody, like, despite the fact that we're all into the same game, everybody has their own wants and visions of what that game should be. And I feel that when we talk about what our wants and needs are, like in terms of what we would like to see in the game or what the game actually needs and things like that in order for it to succeed and such, it's like, you know what? You put all these ideas together, you can come up with a hell of a game. Because ultimately, like things go into the creation process of a game, it's not just one person, it's like the entire team that puts their thoughts together. So I'm saying, okay, let's let's get our own little team over here and put this together. Like, okay, so one of the things that I got to ask right off the bat is what are your must-haves, right? So the things that you absolutely need to have in the game that either needs to be improved or something that's not there for you personally, or else the game won't work, right? I've heard through social media and on Twitter and other things, I've heard things ranging from score streaks or kill streaks in this matter. I've heard a change in the time to kill. I've heard things like a bare bones mode, so where there's like no factions at all, to where it's just like 100% gameplay. And sometimes the things that people say in terms of what they want or what they would like to see changed or altered actually surprises me. It actually surprises me because sometimes I think that everybody's on the same page when it comes to one certain thing, and then lo and behold, here I am completely surprised that somebody would suggest such and such, that little something different. So this is where this is going to come into play, because like for me, for instance, I'll tell you a couple of things on my wish list right off the bat. I'll get started, and then you guys can kind of join in on the conversation, so to speak, right? So obviously, like my one of my obvious things is team deathmatch. To this day, I know that X Defiant's trying to be its own thing. I know it's trying to give us alternative versions of traditional modes. I get it. Because if you think about it, X Defiant in and of itself is an alternate arcade shooter. So I understand that. But with that being said, it doesn't really stop the fact that Team Deathmatch is probably the overall most popular game mode in any first person shooter out there, no matter what. And in some first person shooters, actually, if you think about it, like when first person shooters first started coming out, I'm pretty sure deathmatch or team deathmatch was pretty much like there were only two options. You could either play solo or with a team. So in other words, you were either playing with multiple people or you were playing every man for themselves. So it was either free for all or team deathmatch, or should I say deathmatch and team deathmatch, because originally it actually wasn't called free for all. The game mode that we all know today as free for all, it wasn't originally called free for all. The original name of the free for all game mode is actually deathmatch. You know, it's basically team deathmatch but without the team part. So it's like deathmatch. So I remember Quake 2016 actually kept the original name. They didn't call it free for all. They just called it deathmatch. So that's something, just a little bit of a nod to the origins of what the game really is. So for me personally, I want a team deathmatch, and at the same time, coincidentally, so I think the game has a lot of potential for solo. To be honest with you, like I think it would be really cool and a really interesting take on the game to have a solo mode in there, like in terms of just deathmatch or free for all, as it's more widely known now. So I think free for all would actually fit very well in XDefiant. And when it comes to the factions and stuff like that, one of my other requests is like, honestly, I would love to see the factions kind of toned down a little bit. Because like, or okay, either tone down or just change or alter how they get it. You know, because here's my thing. I guess it's the old school player in me. Maybe it's just I don't know. Maybe I'm just like I just think the players need to earn their stuff. To be honest with you, I really want like players to be earning like all the content and stuff like that, because like if you're gonna get rewarded for something, I don't think you should just get rewarded like out of uh you shouldn't just get rewarded for no reason at all. um so I don't like things that are just given for the sake of being given, you know. That's one, I guess that's like kind of like a pet peeve of mine, I guess. So, and everything nowadays when it comes to shooters or a lot of things are like kind of like a countdown clock. Like to some degree the factions are good, but at the same time it's like i I can't help but think that they kind of hold the game back to a certain extent. But I don't know, maybe they thought of the way to implement factions like this is simply to appease the casual audience, so that way the casual audience doesn't get beat too bad by the more experienced first person shooter player. Maybe, I don't know. But I personally think that in terms of how you get rewarded with your factions, that needs to change. So that's like one of the big ones on my list. Like, reward people legitimately, like make sure they deserve what they get, and then when they do get it, it's got to be something that is very rewarding. Like for instance, like if you even if you go back towards the old days of Modern Warfare 2, when kill streaks were first customizable or whatnot, to where you could pick your streak and what your reward is for that streak, and the higher it is, the bigger the reward. I mean, that's what put Modern Warfare 2 on the map, if you think about it. I mean, COD 4 started it with the 3, 5, and 7, but then Modern Warfare 2 just put it on the map. And it kept people thinking like, oh, what are we going to get for the next game with streaks, and how many kills is it going to take, and what are we going to be able to do with that streak once we obtain it, if we get it, and then and of course it's more exciting really when you get something that you earn versus something that's just given to you, because it kind of makes the game bland. You know what I mean? So I can't help but feel that, like, I understand that the casual audience is the biggest part of the audience, but it's like, can't you make it to where you could just slightly change in terms of how you get the faction rewards? Because there's, what is it, your active trait, your passive trait, and then your ultimate. Like, that's one of the main gripes that I had about this game, Black Ops 4. Like, okay, gunplay was the center of it all, but there was just too much BS going on, because like people would just get like that right there. Like that was just BS. I forget about the fact that I won that gunfight afterwards, but it's like there was just too much of that going on, and it could happen at any point in time that would give people an advantage when they didn't earn that advantage. It's kind of like a death streak if you think about it. It's all in one if you think about it. So I'm just I don't know. I'm not gonna say sorry, because I'm not, but and nor do I think it's too strict. I think with an arcade shooter, I think any player out there, regardless of skill, has the ability to legitimately earn something. Like, legitimately earn something. And when they do earn it, they can get better at it, and they can just keep going from there. So far, my little wish list consists of team deathmatch and deathmatch, also known as free for all. And then of course I want people to like earn everything. Like, I want them to earn like everything that they get. Like, if you can earn challenges, don't you think you should earn the other stuff as well? That's what I think, at least. So and then another thing, one thing that they're definitely nailing out of the park is going to be the maps, especially with DLC maps that we're going to get. And I love the fact that the game is original. So it's not like you can say, oh, they're bringing this map back. It's like, no, they're not bringing anything back, because quite frankly, everything is original. This is a new game. So And they're going to be using the different worlds within the Ubisoft universe games. So that's going to be cool. I think a lot of players can have that to look forward to in terms of where they go, in terms of maps. So that's always a good thing. There's also a 3-lane structure and stuff like that. But I'm thinking like another thing that I would want, and this is not for me, I think this would be for the community. They can give something to an arcade shooter or just a shooter in general that other shooters or majority of other shooters won't do, and that's snipers. Like give snipers their own game mode. Give them one game mode that like they can just go all ham, and plus you can create special maps for that game mode to see who the real badass is, right? Because that's one of the things that snipers like to do. They like to like do their trick shots and shit like that, which we know that people are going to be able to do in XDefiant. So it's like give these people a chance to kind of go into a match and see who the best of the best is in terms of the snipers, right? So I think that would be very interesting. I think that would be very good from a content creation standpoint or a streaming standpoint, just a game standpoint, for a video standpoint. And I think the game mode overall for the sniping community would be a lot of fun because whether you like to admit it or not, the sniping community is actually a really big part of these types of games. Like for an arcade shooter, thanks to what Call of Duty did for an arcade shooter, if there was no quick scoping in a game, fans at this day and age would be pissed if there was no quick scoping in a game. So you know, you gotta give them something. You know, you gotta give the sniping community something besides just the option to have snipers and to do all the quick scoping and all that other stuff that they do. Give them a snipers only game mode. I think, to be honest, in this day and age, not only do I think that's not too much to ask, but I think it's long overdue. Like, and this is coming from somebody who's not a sniper. I am not a sniper by any stretch of the imagination. I do not use snipers. If I see a weapon on the ground, like I will only pick up a sniper if there's literally nothing else around me and I've got no choice. I like literally like, and I want the sniping community to have their own game mode. So I absolutely positively like would be all about that, you know, and hell, I'd even watch some of it. So, wouldn't do it. I wouldn't get in there, but you know, give them something a little extra. So anyway, let's keep going over here. So I also want, like, obviously we're going to get additional game modes, but the question is, what are we going to get? Now we know that a search and destroy mode is coming. We know that. So I think the competitive audience or the people that just are into search and destroy, I think that those guys can rest easy. So I think it's inevitable that we're going to get a search and destroy or something of that nature, because so far what XDefiant is aiming to do is they're not aiming to cut and paste like every single type of game mode that arcade shooters do or what COD does. So, you know, that's kind of like what they did with Hot Shot. It's like Hot Shot ultimately at the end of the day is a deathmatch variant, if you think about it. Because if you think of Kill Confirmed, it's a deathmatch variant. When you think of Cranked, it's a deathmatch variant. So basically what they've done is they've put Team Deathmatch, Kill Confirmed, Team Deathmatch, Kill Confirmed, and Cranked all in one basically at this point. And if you're going to judge that, it's like, okay, the game modes that we're probably going to get at launch, like for instance, or beyond launch, like let's say a search and destroy, I don't think it's going to be exactly like search and destroy like we've done before. And no, I'm not talking about search and rescue either, because that's something that COD did as well. I think it's going to be like a new type of no respawn type of game mode. It may be round based, but I don't think it's going to be cut and paste of what we got with Call of Duty. I think there's going to be some other element in there that's going to be different. I legitimately don't think it's going to be the same, especially since the other game modes for the most part are not the same as what we've gotten. So that's what I'm thinking. So next, we're obviously going to get more factions. But one other thing that we definitely need, especially with some of these maps, because obviously, as you guys know, the maps and the game modes are kind of specific to each other. So if you're going to play Hot Shot, you're only going to be playing with a certain amount of maps. If you're playing Domination, you're going to be playing certain maps. If you're playing, you know, you get the point, right? So here's what I'm thinking. What if they were to give us more, um, like if they were to give us an increase of the lobby players? So right now it's basically a traditional 6v6, right? What if they gave us a 10v10 or a 12v12? Especially with some of these maps, because when you look at some of the game modes for like Escort, right? If you look at some of the game modes like Escort, like when you look at some of those maps, they're significantly large. So if they gave us like a 10v10 or a 12v12, man, that is huge. I think that's going to be like a really, really big, really big deal. I mean, XCal even said it himself in one of the um in one of his From the Desk of XCal episodes, and he basically said that the game like would probably do really well with like a 10v10 or a 12v12, because that, like, the game would benefit from it greatly. I mean, can you imagine like the chaos? Well, not necessarily chaos, but like that's one of the greatest things about arcade shooters is like if you want to, you can kind of go all nuts and just give it like a 12v12. Hell, it would almost be like a mini battle royale, but even better, because you get to respawn in and you get to see how many points you can get before the time runs out or something like that, or whatever type of game mode they would do for 12v12 or 6v6. Actually, you know what? I just gave him an idea. It's like, okay, let's say you have a 12v12 on one of the few maps on Escort, right? The bigger maps in the game, right? And you have a 10-minute time limit or whatever. Usually for game modes, they have anywhere from 10 to 12 minutes in time limit, right? So let's say you have a 10-minute time limit, and the team's job is to get the most amount of points possible before the time limit runs out, or before the timer hits zero, whatever, the clock, whatever. So so I think that would be really cool, to where it's like, and it gives people incentive to actually move around, because okay, we're going against the clock. I need to kill as many people as possible. I need to get as many points as possible. So that would be kind of interesting for the game. I think that would be really interesting. So I would love to see something like that. And then of course, another thing that comes to mind as well is, did I mention this already? I might have, but I'm going to say it again just in case I didn't. Almost 4:30 in the morning, so it's easy for me to forget a few things, but here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, we might get like a bare bones game mode, to where it's like no factions, it's just gun on gun. They might not even call it bare bones. They might just call it gun on gun or something. And the way XDefiant seems to be handling things in terms of how they're interpreting things, it's like, yeah, they're not going to be wanting to call it the same thing that another franchise calls it either. So for me personally, I'm all about that. Give us the no factions game mode, to where all you're doing is using your gun and that's it. So I would love to see something like that. And go figure, everything that I've said so far is revolving around game modes. Maybe it's perhaps we're only getting 5 at launch. That could be a thing. But it's kind of interesting how everything is revolving around game modes, to be honest with you. Bare bones would be a paid feature because people will only play that. No, they're not gonna mega noob. They're not gonna charge people for game modes. Everything post launch is going to be cosmetic. There's not going to be any additional charges or anything like that. The only thing that you would pay for is the battle pass, and that's going to be all cosmetic. And they're not going to put a bare bones. They're not going to make you pay for a game mode. Not even Call of Duty does that. So it's not going to be a paid feature. Every single feature in the game is going to be cosmetic and no additional pay. So no worries about that. And remember, we got to try to think as positively as possible. I mean, yes, I understand the past with Ubisoft and stuff like that, but But these guys over here, XDefiant, you know, they're the developers and everything are pretty much on a clean slate. So it's like, let's until they give us a reason to otherwise, let's at least give them the benefit of the doubt. Because so far they, in terms of what they've done so far, they haven't given us a reason to give them the benefit of the doubt. So it's like, let's let's give these guys a chance. They certainly earned that. So I doubt that's very unlikely for that to be a paid feature. So devs, don't worry me. The marketing team that will take over after launch does. Well, we'll see. We'll see what they do. There's a strategy behind it, but we'll see what they do. I see where you're getting at. And you certainly do have a point. You're not wrong, but I'm gonna be optimistic about it. I'm gonna be optimistic about it. And but if the game, I'll tell you this though, Mega Noob, I'll say this. Let's say you're right, and if it ended up being a paid feature, to be honest with you, I would, if the game does everything else the right way, like if it's that good, and if they make up on their promise, and if they keep their promise, and it's very fun and everything else, I got no problem paying for a mode like that. I would pay for it because I want to support the game because it's fun. And at the same time, I'm getting the fun and excitement and everything that I would be getting from a $70 title for free. So paying a few bucks here and there for, you know, let's say the battle pass, as well as, you know, a few other paid features. If the game is good and if it's worth it and if it's not bullshitting me, then I'm all about it. I don't mind. I'd still be saving money. So, but I seriously doubt they're going to go that route though. Time savers is what they call them. Paid unlocks or hundreds of hours of grueling grinding, what Ubisoft did in previous games. Yeah. Well, the thing is, well, we weren't really expecting this to happen with Ubisoft either in terms of what they did, but you know, you never know. They could do it right. They might do it right. You just never know, man. You never know, because the thing is also, like, the devs know that they're going to get the blame for it if shit goes wrong. So ultimately, if anything, and I mentioned this before, it's like we gotta look for red flags. So all of a sudden, if Mark Rubin quits or if Mark Rubin leaves or whatever, then it's like, okay, now we have our official red flag. So it's like, now we can start to worry and, you know, shit like that. So we'll see. You know, because I know that we all remember when Vaughn said that he just makes the shoes. So he's like, I got nothing to do with the business. I got nothing to do with the marketing. I just make the shoes. So at least that's what he said. So I mean, hell, even Condry years ago during World War II basically said that skill-based matchmaking is not on the devs. It's on the publishers and stuff like that. So thank goodness that there's no skill-based matchmaking. So that's a plus right there. The fact that there's no skill-based matchmaking is a sign of good things. So because, you know, they claim that skill-based matchmaking makes them money. I personally don't think this is the case, but whatever, you know. So we'll see what they do, because this is actually a first for Ubisoft in terms of them making a game like this. So we shall see what they do with it. There's potential. One way or another, there's potential. We'll see what happens. And hopefully things will end up for the better. That's all we can hope for at the end of the day, right? Is that we get a good product. You know, we're saving money because we're not really paying for that product unless, you know, and even paying for a battle pass, again, I think it's going to be like probably $10 or something like that. So, or they can make it to where battle pass, like if they were going to do it paid, it's like, okay, only battle pass holders will get it or something like that. They might tie it into the battle pass or some shit. I don't know. But I seriously don't think they do that though. Because in terms of the type of game that they're trying to make, that would really hold a lot. That would hold the game back, actually, because you wouldn't have as many people like playing that game mode. So it's like, yeah, you don't want that. If you're gonna make a game mode, you're gonna want people to play it. So you don't want to limit yourself in any way. Not even Activision's done that. So, and if Activision hasn't done that, well, you know. Actually, technically speaking, Activision kind of has done that, because in order to play Blackout, you had to buy Black Ops 4. And Blackout is a game mode, so and when you come to think about it, so any specific wish list that you want? Anything you would like? Is there anything that you would specifically request for XDefiant to do? or not to do, or yeah, anything game modes wise, anything weapons, any creative features or anything like that, something you want to see in the game that hasn't been done before, anything that that your little imagination let's let it roll. Customization that isn't paid. Well, they've said that, what's it called? Gonna be cosmetics only. So, oh, okay, I got you. Cosmetics that isn't paid. That's. I think they might have a few of those that are apart from the battle pass, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm actually, to a certain extent, I'm actually surprised that customization is a big thing for first person shooters, because in first person shooters you really don't get to see it that much in game, at least not your character. So I know it's like a representation of you and all, but still, I can't help but think like in a first person shooter where you can't really see it when you're playing, it's like, I mean, it makes sense for a third person shooter even more, but you get the deal. You know what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm thinking. Anything else? Like anything from a gameplay standpoint? Because there's always something that I'm missing, so it's like fill in the blanks. Fill in my blanks, so to speak. That sounds so wrong. Class customization, some abilities, I mean. What do you mean? I mean, because we already have some class customization in terms of the weapons, and then you get to choose one of your factions, but you mean things like perks that are not fixed to a faction? So you mean things like perks, kind of like perks. The dead deal for your playstyle, they aren't fixed. It's a dead deal. Hmm. Interesting indeed. Some very interesting viewpoints over here, though, that you bring up. That's for sure. Hmm. Complement your gun customization. Huh. Huh. Because they have they kind of have like these perks for your guns in terms of, an option to put it on in terms of the customization, but beyond that, not much else. Any type of game modes you want to see or request? Team Deathmatch is mostly what I play. Yep. I was mentioning that earlier. Yeah. I think it would be downright mistake for them not to have a Team Deathmatch in there. You never know. They might surprise us and put it in. But I don't know. I'm still kind of surprised that Team Deathmatch is not in there. I mean, seriously. Most people do play Team Deathmatch to this day. It's still the #1 most popular game mode out of all of them. Which is why I'm so surprised that they haven't put it in. But you never know. They may. Damn. I just want more. I just can't wait till they release more guns, to be honest with you, because there's not many guns that we're gonna get at launch. Like there's gonna be 24, but including the secondaries. But like, I just want more guns, man. That's all. Gotta have more toys to play with. You know, you gotta have a lot of things to play with. But by the end of the first year of the game's release, it's gonna have plenty of guns. It's gonna have like up to 36, which I believe is standard for a lot of shooters. What's up, Corny Puddle? How's it hanging, bud? Doing all right? Just talking about our little XDefiant wish list over here. Mega Noob is giving me his insights. Feel free to join in. If there's anything specific that you want, you know, let it be known, man. Especially like sometimes whenever you guys are in chat or something like that, or you mention something, you know, sometimes you guys give me ideas for videos. So, and speaking of videos, one's uploading right now. It won't be live till later, but I want a decent pistol loadout so I can attempt to be John Wick. LOL. You're funny. You are funny. Did you see John Wick 4, by the way? I'm assuming you did, right? Did you guys see John Wick 4? And a pen is your backup. You mean a pencil? No, you haven't seen it. Okay. My friend made me watch all John Wicks, but I didn't see the appeal. Well, I guess to each their own. Everybody's different. Everybody's fancy gets tickled differently, so not all of us will like the same thing or the most popular thing. Um like for me personally, it's you know, like everybody seems to be in the battle royales, but I'm not. So I understand being the different one. I'm just, you know, and I played spoiler alert for you guys. You know, I'll tell you, the upcoming video is going to be about Black Ops 2 because I got done playing a session earlier today. So it's going to be kind of revolving around that. But playing Black Ops 2 earlier today though made me want to wait. It just made me like not want to wait for XDefiant, you know, because it just made me more excited to play XDefiant because I like the way XDefiant plays and the way it does. So what's up, Psycho Killer Clown? How's it going, man? And plus, you got the fact that Microsoft, you know, I mean, is going to own Call of Duty again, so that's great. Nothing but good news overall, you know. So we've been wanting change with Call of Duty, so at least we're getting some sort of change that could potentially lead into more stuff. So all good news, if you ask me. In my humble opinion. Call of Duty technically coming back home. Well, this time it's owned by Microsoft. So can you imagine if Microsoft were to all of a sudden say, you know what? We're not going to do the yearly cycle anymore, and we're going to release one gigantic game and just expand with that or something like that. I know from a development standpoint, I know the developers could use a bit of a break. But I don't know. That's the thing. We just don't know exactly what they're going to do. Or they might do nothing. They might just, you know, be like, "Hey, guess what? You know, you guys do your own thing, and we'll see you in a few years." You know, Microsoft might just do that. Plus, as a nerd, I'm just excited for a Spyro 5 or a Crash 4 or Spyro 4 Crash 5. I agree. It's great. It's great. We're finally getting some change. I hope we can get rid of the yearly release. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? Well, here's another thing, guys. What if Bobby Kotick decides to stay? Like, he's gonna get paid like $400 million just to leave. But think about it for a second. What if he actually doesn't leave? What if he actually stays? Because he's already worth billions. Todd Howard already be like, more than 1,000 planets about next game, LMAO. In my opinion, is that Xbox could stop the 10-year deal with Sony regarding COD. No, they've already kind of sworn that they're going to do that anyway. That they're going to keep everything, you know, with COD 10 years. I mean, and Nintendo's already signed on it too. They already gave Nintendo a contract and Nintendo signed it. So there's that. Fallout 5 is the next COD killer 2024 bet. Well, Fallout 5 is a different game. Fallout is a different game. It's a different franchise. Four times the size of Warzone. You know what? I have a confession to make. I haven't really played that much Fallout, to be honest. We can basically say I hardly played it at all. So, guys, what are your thoughts if Bobby Kotick decides to stay? Like, serious question. Like, no joke. What if Bobby decides to stay? No thoughts? Or do you not care at all? Or I hope he doesn't stay, and if he does, I hope Microsoft smothers him out. He could be good or bad for Xbox. Well, I don't think he's going to be, he's not going to be the main man in charge. I saw somebody on Twitter basically say whatever you want about Bobby, but he knows how to make money. Like that man, like seriously, if that man knows anything, he knows how to make money. So does Fast and Furious. Yeah. If you think about it, Fast and Furious is doing the exact same thing that COD's doing, if you think about it. Just not every year. He knows how to make money, and Xbox knows how to buy up studios. Yeah, right now they have a lot. Now they have a lot. Between all the stuff that they bought beforehand, and now they got Bethesda, and then now they got Activision Blizzard. That's some serious potential. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I hope so. Because I know that the developers, I know that there's been a lot of developers that under Activision Blizzard that are originally making different games, but they've been forced to make COD because COD has to make the deadline, and that's what makes the most money. So let's say you were under Activision Blizzard, but you usually let's say make I don't know, let's say you're making some sort of adventure game, right? But then all of a sudden a new Call of Duty deadline is coming up and they need people. It's like, yep, you guys are going to stop doing what you're doing. You're going to help these guys make the game because that's what makes the money. I've so many questions in the air in terms of what Microsoft is going to do with this. Because they've got the money, so they could afford to pay 16 times the rainbow flags in Modern Warfare 2. We'll see what they do, man. We'll see what they do. At the end of the day, we just want a good COD, right? That's all we want. Well, in terms of that, Sony might buy EA. Huh. Let them. Funny mega noob. But yeah, that's the thing though. Sony is gonna they're forced to become even better now, so which is good. Again, competition is good, man. The more competition, the better. I would just love to see things move forward with COD for the better. But at least we have XDefiant. We're always gonna have Halo, thank goodness. We're always gonna have XDefiant. At least I think we're always gonna have XDefiant. We always have Roblox Warfare 2. Isn't there that other game? What's that other game called? Um that looks like really pixelated, but it's really good. But it's on PC only though. Like a lot of people are loving it. Yeah, BattleBit. There you go. A lot of people seem to be taken to that. A lot of people seem to be taken to that. So I say yes. And the thing is, it was only made by like 3 people. There's people out there that are saying it was only made by 3 people and it's already better than COD or recent CODs. I just want, you know what I want? I just want like, well, XDefiant is the first new arcade shooter. I just want more arcade shooters. I want more variety, man. Like, kind of like a buffet. I want a buffet of arcade shooters. Is that so much to ask? But I also like arena shooters, so I'm always going to love Halo or games like Halo. That's what I want. Few zombie modes and 2 new COD clones with actual graphics. I don't think anybody would mind that. I don't think anybody would mind that. Imagine if Zombies was actually like a full-on game just in and of itself. That would be pretty cool. Zombies in VR are getting played out. Scrap Warzone and keep DMZ. I don't know, man. That all depends on everybody's different points of view. Some people like DMZ, some people don't. Some people are, I don't know. Like a lot of people are not really looking forward to Doctor Disrespect's game. At least a lot of them are not. But I don't know. Maybe his like younger fanboys or something like that might bite into it. But I mean, it's basically like a vertical extraction shooter. It's screwed up. You have to download Warzone to play DMZ. Yeah, of course. That's how they get you. At least Microsoft would be more open to changing shit up. Because you know Activision's not. But Microsoft will. Oh yeah, of course they do. They're shills, bro. They're Call of Duty shills. I don't trust any of those dudes. I can see right through that bullshit. It's like, you know, anybody that's covering like the new stuff that's coming out with Call of Duty, it's like, really, dude? Just corrupt. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's what they do. They sweep things under the rug. That's what they do. That's how it works. Unfortunately. And sadly. Modern Warfare 3 will be like Modern Warfare 2 with a different name. Correct. Modern Warfare 1.2 or Modern Warfare 2. I don't know. You guys are not wrong. But they keep getting away with it because they know it sells and they keep doing it because it keeps working. So until it stops working, they're not going to stop doing it. That's the those are the hard facts right there. OG Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 are better? Of course they are. But a lot of the players right now, they don't know that though. They don't know anything better. Like if you say like if you talk to anybody right now that's like you know, in their mid-teens or somewhere around there and you mention Call of Duty, they think you're talking about Warzone. You talk to us about Call of Duty, you know, we think Black Ops 4 and before. How long you think Doctor and Tim hold out on not playing COD? They said they won't until Nick gets an apology. Oh no, that's not happening. Um, well, here's what I'm going to say. They're going to use the Microsoft Activision blurred. They're going to use the merger as an excuse. It's like, well, it's not the same people anymore, so therefore, you know, there you go. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. Yeah, dude, it's all about the money, man. Millionaires wanting to be bigger millionaires. It's like Nick Merckx should have known who he was dealing with. It's like, dude, like he's not stupid. He knows how scummy they are, but they offered him money and he decided to work with them. Billionaires have strong opinions on age consent laws. Sport pride. Well, let's not get into too much politics over here, right? Let's not go too deep. Well, all right, guys. Well, I'm gonna call it a stream. It's been, how long has it been? Yeah, it's been about an hour, and it is 10 after 5 a.m. So I got to try to get some Z's because I do have work tomorrow, or should I say today? So, and tomorrow if I do stream, I'm gonna try to stream earlier so that way I can get more stream time in. So, but yeah, uh, it was nice talking to you guys. But with everything going on, again, like Corny said, nothing would shock me at all. It wouldn't shock me at all either. But we're gonna see what happens. I'm actually really curious to see exactly how Microsoft's gonna handle it. Might be good. All right, Corny. You have a good night as well. It was nice hanging out with you as well. All right, I'll catch you guys on the next stream. So have a good day or night, and I'll see you later.